spiritual Christian versus religious Christian. Our modern society has a dim view of religious beliefs and often tries to label everything of faith into one category. There is a distinction between being religious and being a Christian. The understanding of what those differences are and how they relate to matter of faith are vitally important. Being religious simply means that a person has placed their faith in something or someone. People can place their faith in many different things. Some place their faith in themselves and their own personal abilities or potential as a human being. Others place their faith in money and the security that positions can bring. Still more place their faith in the families, friends, people in general, or even the teachers of their nation. Sadly, some even place their faith in the institutions of the church or its leaders. The truth is that all of these things can and will fail us. Our own personal abilities can measure up at times. Our positions can be swept away in a crisis and leave us feeling empty. Our families, friends, and teachers can fail us because they too are human like we are. Our churches have failed us when they have strayed away from the message of Scripture to become more acceptable to the world around them. There could be thousands of examples, but the point is this: religious activity can leave us empty. Religion, by definition of faith, is this: a system of beliefs and behaviors needed, followed to gain entrance into the afterlife. So what is the difference between all of these things and Christianity? Is Christianity a religion? In a strict manner of speaking, Christianity is beyond mere religion. It might surprise you, but there is something a Christian can do to earn a place. There is nothing a Christian can do to earn a place in heaven. Good works and human efforts cannot get the job done. This is without makes Christianity so radically different from just being religious. The key is not in religious behavior, but in a relationship with the risen Savior. Christianity is so amazingly simple that most churches do nothing but make it complicated. All that is needed to be a Christian is to accept Jesus as Savior and follow Him as Lord. Jesus gave His life on the cross to be our Savior, and He rose again on Easter to be our Lord. Jesus died to offer us life. Jesus gave Himself to pay the debt that humanity owed for the price of sin. Sin is simply missing the mark and making mistakes. Have you never messed up something in life or made a mistake you wish you could change? Do you know anyone who could say that? We are all in the same boat, with this, and it is sinking like the Titanic. Jesus had become our lifeboat on the sinking ship we call life. His deepest desire is to rescue you from the power of sin and death. Jesus will not force you to get into His lifeboat. It is your own choice. This choice is one that we all have to make for ourselves. The difference between being religious and being Christian is simple. Being religious, we trust in our own logic and our own thinking. Being a Christian is simply placing your trust in Jesus for everything. All religious people are spiritual, but not all spiritual people are religious. I repeat, all religious people are spiritual, but not all spiritual people are religious. Being religious includes conforming to an established set of behaviors to express your spirituality. Being spiritual is more of being connected to your inner spirit and the universe or God. But be careful with that label because that often leads to a religious view. Religion is more of following certain rules and practices and beliefs and is more organized with other people. Spirituality is more personal, but through it you realize you're connected to everyone and everything in the world. Religion is a man-made system of worship. It is an organized practice that gives a framework in which a believer may interact with his or her higher power. It is based on tradition and teachings that have been around for years. Spirituality, on the other hand, is the belief within the believer. It is the recognition and acceptance of that connection between the inner self and a power that lies outside of his or her personal being. It is based on feeling and faith in something unexplainable. Generally speaking, religion is governed by rules, whereas spirituality is governed by principles. In religion, one needs to know what the rules are before one can act. And in the absence of specific rules, one trains to become disoriented. In spirituality, once one understands the principles, one is able to deal appropriately with any situation, even if one of the available rules seems to be relevant to the present situation. Being religious is simply following the rituals and practices prescribed by the religion. Being spiritual is being mindful of how your actions impact the world and others around you and or being in touch with the divine God, small God, or whatever higher existence you believe in. It's possible to be both simultaneously, but it is surprising how many religious people are not spiritual. Religions have set belief systems and rules that one has to follow. Being spiritual means that you think about religious concepts like a higher power and life after death, but you don't necessarily follow any set beliefs or guidelines according to a religion. Being religious means being ritualist. Being spiritual means being concerned with the soul. Being religious simply believes in a way without knowing it, whereas being spiritual is exploring religiousness without believing. I agree with most people here that religion is a set of rituals that people follow on their spiritual path. You can be religious and spiritual because you practice religion to understand your soul's spiritual journey. People who are simply spiritual understand how vast ideas are and how there is something bigger. But they also understand that not one single idea or philosophy is going to be right and therefore drop that rituals. Do not conform to the one system of ideas and tend to be more open to new ideas involving their spiritual journey. Whereas someone who is religious, as we can see, or some of the answers here, believe that their philosopher, Jesus for example, is more correct or is simply the only right way. Just using Christians as an example since they are pretty common and also commonly tell you are wrong to believe in what makes you comfortable. People who are spiritual do not fear God in the way that religious people do. Many religious people have read about or been told about a faith, but do not recognize any others. They have been told to do things in a certain way and not question why. If they do question, the answer is because the Bible or the Quran or some other religious text say to do it that way. They do not follow the spirit but the letter. That is okay for some, but just because it has been written down does not make it good for all. The spiritual person sees and can acknowledge this fact. The religious person is at times trapped with their own faith and cannot see outside. They often can or will not acknowledge the many paths to the source. The spiritual person can recognize the many manifestations of the divine as being part of the same source. The religious person recognizes only the manifestations they have been taught. Too often, the religious person seeks to discredit other manifestations of the divine. I repeat, too often the religious person seeks to discredit other manifestations of the divine. This has been the cause of many wars and countless deaths. This has caused people throughout history to be persecuted because of their religion. The Christians persecuted the pagans. The Jews persecuted the Christians. The Chinese government persecuted the Buddhists in Tibet. Christians persecuted other Christians. This list could go on and on and on. Once started, the cycle is hard to stop. Even without the same path, people interpret things in different manners. The spiritual person can see the light in all. The religious only see their own narrow band of light. The divine light is broad and contains all the colors of the rainbow in a constant state of change. The divine includes all sects and paths. Spiritual people are more open to other faiths and learn from each other. Religious people tend to only want to learn about their own path. If only there were more spiritual people in this world as opposed to religious people. According to the Bible, to be spiritual is to walk by the Spirit of God and not according to human reasoning. It means to truly practice the fruit of the Spirit which are mentioned in the Bible. The fruit in the Bible are listed as love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. In other words, to be spiritual is to make decisions according to the Spirit of God and not according to human understanding. To be religious, according to the Bible, is to practice outwardly what is not true inside. To be hypocritical. This is clearly stated in the Bible. The Bible tells me to love my neighbor as myself. This meant that I had to learn how to love myself and then sacrifice that love of myself for another above my own self-interest. According to the Bible, the world would know who God's true followers were by how much we love each other. That meant I had to love and be kind to fellow believers even though they might be trying to condemn me to hell, trying to kick me out of their church, and calling me all kinds of untrue names. It meant I had to forgive them no matter what they did to me. The Bible instructs me to learn to know God, to love Him, and to trust Him. That's much easier said than done because it requires me to sacrifice my self-interest, to go where no man could prefer to go, and to go where it hurts. It hurts to trust. It hurts to love, and it hurts to learn to know about God. To know God, we must learn to trust and to love Him beyond our human understanding. To be truly spiritual as a Christian means to actually do what I have said I will do. It means that I am truly doing as the Bible teaches that I ought to do. To be religious as a Christian means to go through the motions of appearing to be doing what the Bible has told me to do. It means that I am claiming to be doing what I am not actually doing. But in reality, I'm not really doing it. Let me cite some quotations about religion. According to Gary Amirault, religion stinks of all of them. The difference between religion and a living, vibrant relationship with the Father of all living souls through Jesus Christ, the Son of God, is the difference between death or religion and life or being born of God's Spirit through Jesus Christ. Jesus did not come to start a new religion or reform an old one. He came to give us life, and more abundantly in this lifetime and beyond. According to Ralph Waldo Emerson, a person will worship something, have no doubt about that. We may think that our tribute is paid in secret in the dark recesses of our heart, but it will out. That which dominates our imaginations and our thoughts and will determine our lives and our character. Therefore, it behoves us to be careful what we worship, for what we are worshiping, we are becoming. According to Garrison Keillor, going to church no more makes you a Christian than sleeping in your garage makes you a car. Going to church no more makes you a Christian than sleeping in your garage makes you a car. According to Thomas Jefferson, I never will, by any word or act, bow to the shrine of intolerance or admit a right of inquiry into the religious opinions of others. According to Jonathan Swift, he said, "We have enough religion to make us hate, but not enough to make us love one another." I repeat, according to Jonathan Swift, he said, "We have enough religion to make us hate, but not enough to make us love one another." Jonathan Swift is an Irish author and foremost prose satirist. Benjamin Whitcote said, "Among politicians, the esteem of religion is profitable. The principles of it are troublesome." Georgia Harness said, "The tendency to turn human judgment into divine commands makes religion one of the most dangerous forces in the world." I repeat, according to Georgia Harness, the tendency to turn human judgment into divine commands makes religion one of the most dangerous forces in the world. Another one from Gary Amirault, what is that? Why is it that compassionate, conservative, gun-toting, patriotic, politically right-wing Christians usually behave and speak more like Jewish Pharisees, Sadducees, lawyers and scribes than Jesus Christ? Another from Gary Amirault, he said, "Religion is nothing more than a meticulously planned, carefully orchestrated funeral procession." Another quotation from him, "To many Jews, truth is anti-Semitic. To many Jews, truth is anti-Semitic. To many Christians, truth is antichrist, and to many Muslims, truth is inflammatory. According to Martin Luther, the last one I quote, according to Martin Luther, he said, "The curses of the ungodly are more pleasing to God's ears than the hallelujahs of the pious." According to Martin Luther, the curses of the ungodly are more pleasing to God's ears than the hallelujahs of the pious. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.